Why am I running? Because I want to make a difference. Like I said, I've always been in the arts and I believe in serving. I put the community, sometimes many more times, in front ahead of my own interests and needs or my agenda. I've always listened. I've brought community consensus and I'm very results oriented. I completed my John Street leadership. I'm also a school liaison for the Northview High School for student leadership team. I also completed my CAPS, that is the Police Community Academy training. I find peace in this city and liberty in this city. I find liberty in this country as well. You can call me the mother of liberty because I named my daughter Liberty 9 years ago. Thank you so much. I'm running for post 5.
I want to make sure I can see everyone. My name is Stephanie Andres, and I'm running for post 5. My experience, I've lived in the city for 17 years in the same house before it was Johns Creek. I've been engaged in the community through my children's schools, through scouting, swim team, HOA, and my church. For the last 6 years, I've attended hundreds of council meetings, town halls, public hearings, and I've educated myself on all the topics that have been discussed so that I can understand and better grasp and even provide feedback in the certain areas that I have an expertise in. My career, I've been for 25 years in the private sector in the financial accounting and reporting world, and that's my technical skill, but for the last 15 years, I've been in leadership. I've directly led departments, typical finance departments, and been responsible for the day-to-day operations to ensure that the work is done properly, with quality, on time, and also cross-departmental projects like system conversions, big customer needs that fulfill the whole company. And with that skill set, I believe with my work skill set as well as my experience in the community and with the council, I have a unique skill set to be able to lend to the council as they're starting to review policies and procedures for cash management, expense management, and other areas. I want to run because I want to provide some uncomplicated solutions to better influence traffic flow, as well as to provide some additional information for the 5-year financial plan that they're working on, as well as budgeting. And that's why I'm running. I think I have a unique skill set, and I'm very qualified to fill this post, and I hope that I can get your vote tonight. Thank you so much.
Good evening. I'm Steve Broadbent. I'm in post 6, having been elected in a special election in July of last year. So I've been serving about 16 months. I've brought to the council leadership skills that have been honed across 22 years in the Navy, where I retired as a commander. I served at senior positions with President George H.W. Bush for 7 years, worked in large corporations in senior positions, and now run my own successful small business here in Johns Creek. I'm committed to the community. I'm on the Johns Creek Foundation, which raises private money to support things that improve quality of life here in Johns Creek. I chair the Johns Creek Public Safety Foundation, which assists our fire and police personnel in the event they're injured or hopefully never killed in the line of duty. I've raised my 2 daughters here who are both now in college, and I'm truly passionate about keeping the city in the future as it was when we moved here 16 years ago. It was a great place to raise our family. I want to ensure that other families, young families moving into town with young kids, have that same opportunity. So when their kids go off to college or they go off and get married, they'll look back on the years here in Johns Creek with great fondness. And as someone else said, it'll be the kind of town where people want to come back to. You don't have to, bribe your kids to come back and see you. They want to come back and see you just because it's a great place. We've made great progress in the 16 months I've been here. We've invested in police and fire, both personnel and training. We've invested in paramedic training for some of the existing firefighters. We've invested more money in the last fiscal year and the new fiscal year, which is just starting, in traffic solutions than the council did in all the prior years that we've been a city. We've made great strides across all the departments in Johns Creek. We're reviewing all the processes and procedures that the council has established in prior years to look for efficiencies in how we operate our government. So hopefully we'll have more opportunity to talk about the good things that are going on here in Johns Creek, and I ask for your support and vote in the post-6 election. Thank you.
everybody made it out here tonight, despite the bridge not being open. My name is Tom Radford. I'm running for Johns Creek, post number 6. I'm a man of faith. The faith is the foundation of my existence. I say that not for you to hear. I need to remind myself that each and every day. And I have to do it multiple times per day, especially when we get into things like politics. My family is the heartbeat of my existence. Without them, I'm nothing. I have a 13-year-old son who's at Perimeter Church. He's Perimeter Christian School. He's in the 8th grade. Tyler graduated from Johns Creek High School. He was one of the original Johns Creek freshmen, and he's 20. And Ashley's 27. She graduated from Northview. She's married. She's graduated from college, and we have a grandchild. So I'm very proud of all that. The reason I'm running is my father left this country, and his colleagues, they fought for this country to make it great. And when I look at what's going on in Washington, and when I look at what's going on all the way down through the community level in government, it disturbs me. It disturbs me. And I'm pretty sure it disturbs most of you as well. So I have an obligation. I have to give back. I have an undergrad in accounting. I practiced in Fortune 500 companies, started a business 20 years ago, traveled all over the world. It's an international business. It does quite well. I have to give back, and I truly am here to serve, and I'm qualified, I'm mature, and I'm a steward, and I can help bring the city to a better place. Thank you.
Thank you all for your introductory comments. We're now going to start the first round of questions. And, would that be a draw on that? Oh, sure, if you'd like to. Sure. I'll be below it. And Mr. Radford, we're going to start with you. And your question is, how do you envision Johns Creek in 5 years and in 10 years? What will be the same and what will have changed?
What will be the same, in my vision, is to find a residential community that I think we all moved here for in the first place, with the lower density and the nice school system, the safety, the police and the fire department are quite awesome, to say the least. I think we all know that. What I see is different is we'll be able to get from point A to point B without costing us a half a day in traffic. And that needs to be the primary focus of the government. I mean, it's, to me, it's not that complicated. It's complicated to fix it, but if everybody puts their eyes on it, there's a lot of smart people in Johns Creek. And if we all get together and we unite to come up with ways to address this problem, and I understand it's a state, it's a county, and it's a city issue, but we need leadership that can coordinate the three, to bring them together in order to, when we have everybody trying to fix everything at once, it doesn't, it's just not good sense. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Burkhalter, you have the next question. And it is, what makes you uniquely qualified to be elected?
Okay.
And I'm going to pass this on the front, I think, for the group here. I'm not sure which words that
I'll
are.
just bust this little thing out.
You know, I'm sorry, our mics are not totally aligned.
I feel that I'm uniquely qualified to serve in this capacity because of the career that I've had. I've been, like I mentioned, in business here for now, next month will be 20 years. 20 years of running a financial planning firm where I've dealt with a lot of different levels and sizes of businesses. I see what the businesses want. I know what it takes to make a business successful. And so we need to apply some of those same skill sets to our city government. The same skill set can also be applied to when we're trying to attract businesses that we desire into our city, as opposed to some of the just ancillary businesses that we tend to get.
Thank you, sir. Try and keep this. Okay, Mr. Broadbent, you have the next question. Which is the most important, large capital reserve or diversified tax base? Large capital reserve or diversified tax base?
Well, I think if you've been following City Council with regard to the capital reserves that we have, we've committed $20 million of the reserve account to acquire parkland, and we're actively looking at opportunities for that. We've allocated additional capital reserves to accelerate the funding of the neighborhood repaving program from 8 years to 4 years, and we're about 10 days away from completing year one. It'll complete at the end of this month. So by the time we acquire parkland and the rest, we're not going to have big capital reserves. This town will primarily be a residential community forever. But there are opportunities for us to improve the commercial base, particularly when you look at improving or revitalizing Tech Park. Tech Park is a 1980s style design. It's not an attractive place that companies want to move to. Working with the owner and the developer, I think there are opportunities for us to change that, make it more an attractive place for mid-sized companies to move into without disturbing the residential character of this community.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Coughlin. What would you like to see in Johns Creek in the future that does not exist today? What will it take to make that happen? Over this way.
I guess that'd be reduced traffic congestion. I think proper synchronization of the lights, looking into alternative traffic relief measures like parallel flow intersections, continuous flow intersections, and also additional parkland. Like Steve was saying, we do need to allocate those reserves to pick up some parkland before we're overdeveloped. We're continuing to sprawl horizontally, and soon I'm sure we'll go up. So I'd like to secure some parkland and improve traffic through, again, synchronization of the lights, proper intelligent software to assist that. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Andres. What is the one thing you want to preserve in Johns Creek, and how will we do that?
I think the one thing that we definitely need to preserve is what everybody moved here for, which is to be a residential community and to be able to have good neighborhoods with our neighbors and with the schools. And I think it all goes hand in hand. The people that move to the communities that are going to the schools are the ones that have come here for the residential look and feel. And I think that's the most critical thing.
Thank you. Ms. Hanson?
I'm just going to yell.
No, I'm coming over to you.
All right.
There are many legitimate businesses that would never be allowed to open their doors in Johns Creek. Does this need to be revisited, and if so, how would we do it?
Thank you. I know no legitimate businesses that wouldn't be able to open their doors in Johns Creek, with the exception, perhaps, there is some, I think this is specific to some state litigation and some litigation that the city tried to work with respect to massage parlors. We had a real problem in Johns Creek when the economy tanked, for want of a better word. We had a lot of open space. People moved in there and were not doing what they should have been doing in there. There were foot massage places. You probably noticed a plethora. The state was trying very hard to deal with welcoming licensed massage therapists, which is a legitimate trade, and protecting our communities from some terrible things that were going on. I think the city has continued to work. They passed one ordinance that I believe should be reworked because they're still having trouble with it. other legitimate businesses should be here.
Thank you. The next one will be for Ms. Donnelly. And it is, this is a long one. With only about 10% undeveloped land available in the city of Johns Creek, there have been several proposals and plans that include properties that are owned by private entities. If the private property owners had no desire to sell, would you vote for the city to use eminent domain to acquire the lands to make these plans happen? And what is your reasoning behind your answer?
Sure, thank you. One, individual property ownership is the foundation. Individual property rights is the foundation of United States. I also believe in maintaining the character of the community. I believe we are in Johns Creek.